Alright, so I'm going to do this quick thing with replacing this with a GSXR Shock for the Ninja 300. I've kind of gone through and already loosened everything up except for this bolt here. But so pretty much this is what I'll be including in the kits. And so what we're going to do is we're going to remove the stock shock here and replace the dog bones and everything with all the aftermarket ones that I'm going to show you, and longer bolts and everything like that. So first thing you're going to do is you're going to take off the chain guard, because that's going to be in the way. So let's pause this and I'll do that real quick. I'll come back. Okay, so there's two outside bolts here on the chain guard. Here. There's also a Allen bolt there, and one on the right side there. So let me grab those two. Okay, so now the chain guard is removed. You see, you can opt to not put that back together or not put it back on, or you can put it back on. Doesn't really matter, I don't think. But all right, so this is what we're looking at now. I tend to do this now. You can wait until you have a little bit more room if you're able to suspend the bike or whatnot. But so we need to make room for the new shock, because the new shock has this reservoir on it. Okay, so that's going to sit there, and unfortunately there's not quite enough clearance. So what you have to do is you're going to cut right on the other side of this flap here. There's this little flap sticks down. You're going to cut on the back side of it. You're going to cut all the way to the side and down. And you don't necessarily have to cut to the side, but I just think it makes it easier to get it. And then you're going to do it on both sides. You're going to cut all the way to the side and down towards the front. Now, there is like a little flap that goes up on the inside of here. So, and once I get the edges cut, I'll show you what I'm talking about. Okay, so I've made the cut, and I just use an angle grinder. You just kind of get it right up in there. You can do that with the stock shock on there. It'll get right in there. You just go right along the edge of that, and then go right along the edge here, and right along the edge on the other side. Be careful, because the brake line, the stock brake line, is like right there, so you don't want to watch it. Now, if you look inside when you're doing this, there is a little flap right there. You see it? It goes straight up. So just cutting the edge of the bottom won't get it. Now you can take a pair of snips or something and cut that, or you can just kind of wiggle it and it'll eventually break free. Or you can take the grinder and get up in there and cut it out, twist it off. It don't matter. It eventually just busts free. So I mean, it's not really this little flap that's up there. I mean, it's not hard. But anyway, so as you see, if you cut right there, you don't have any chance of hitting the airbox. That's why I don't go in the middle, because I don't want to hit the airbox. It's very close to the bottom of it, so if you go too far through, you hit the airbox. But and see, on this side over here, you can kind of go straight down. This time I went straight up, but you can, if you see it from the other side, you can kind of cut straight across at this little angle and take this little flap off right there, and you don't have the chance hitting the airbox at all the way around. So it clears the airbox everywhere. So, all right. So now that's out of the way. I've already went through and loosened up everything and whatnot. So for like the top shock, you're gonna take the little keepers out right here in the frame. There's like a little cover like this. So you're gonna take that out, and you can shove socket through with an extension. You can get from both sides, and you can take off this one. And you're gonna loosen up this one, this top here. You're gonna loosen up this one with the dog bone, both ends, and the bottom of the shock. So those are the only four that you're going to loosen up. Now, you're going to reuse this one and only this one. Okay, the other three are going to be replaced unless you have the other shock, which I'll show you that too. Okay, so now we've gotten these out. There's the stock dog bones and the stock links, the stock bolts. They won't fit anymore. The other bolts that we get are slightly longer. because we're going to need to space out to go around the spring. Alright, so once you get it out, it's easiest just to pull it out of the bottom, kind of like that. And so this is what you're left with here. Be careful because you got these little O-rings that are in these bushings. So you don't want to lose these little O-rings. So be sure that they don't fall out. Just put them all back in there. Alright, so this is what you should have left. Your little knuckle here. Then your dog bones will go here, and your shock goes here. Now the shocks that I'll be doing is, one shock has not been prepped yet at all. As you can see, this is how it comes to you, to me or whatnot. See, and it has this hole here, and so this hole has to be widened like this, and then the inside has to be widened in order for the clevis here to fit over the 300 knuckle. Okay, so the other thing, and here's the final part in here, or one of the other parts in here, not final. You see the difference in the size of the top of the shock. This one's been drilled out. I drilled this one before I had the special bushings made. This one is how it comes stock. It's very, very thin wall here. I mean, yeah, you can still use it, but and I've ridden on one and it's fine. But if you don't get that drill bit straight through, then there's really no room for error. If you deviate from that at all, you're going through it into the rubber. And you have to lubricate it very well as you're going through it, or else you'll melt the rubber because the bit will get hot and the bushing will get hot, and you just mess it all up. So the new one that the new way I'm doing it is I make a bushing that dumbs down the hole that's here, because this is the bolt that goes through here and it just doesn't fit. It fits in this one just fine, but it doesn't fit in this one. So alright, so I'm going to prep the bottom part of this clevis here, and then I'll show you the difference in the two shocks. Okay, so now I've widened it. You can double check. I use it slides on there. I drilled the hole out so that it matched the one on the bike. So now it's ready to be installed. Now, found pretty much the only way, or the easiest way, instead of trying to pull the swing arm all the way down to get it in there, is if you hold it at like an angle like this, and then you get the reservoir in there with the swing arm up, because it's got to have clearance from the ground. You can kind of just shift it around like that, and that's how you can get it in there. Okay, so now here's where this comes into play. This hole is smaller than the original, so that's where the new bushings come in. Okay, and this is the original bolt that came with the GSXR Shock that I got. Okay, and then I had these bushings made. So I have all this stuff available. So this bushing fits in that hole. Okay, fits right in there. Alright, now, and there's one on both sides, so just put it on the bolt, and hang on. I just move the swing arm down so that I can get my arm up in here. Just kind of work it in there. Get the bushing seated on the other side. And kind of hard to do one-handed. Hold this. So, and it's through. So now, with the nut on there. The shock is mounted like it's supposed to be. Doesn't have movement. It moves on the bushing like it's supposed to, but it doesn't move up and down because that prevents you from having to drill out the top like this. Now, I have these two, and you just use the original bolt that came with the came in the 300. You can put that in there, and then you just put the shock in there and just slide the bolt through. It's easy. But I've started using these bushings. I like it better. You don't have to destroy the bushing in the shock, and it's just less modification. So, alright, so now this shock lines up. It's supposed to. The shock is in there. Slide that the original bolt back through. Like that. Yeah, I mean, you're gonna tighten it down. And I always wait until everything's in place before I tighten everything. But so now the shock's in there. Now all I have to do is put the dog bones in, which this is what we do now. Now this is where the dog bones come in. Okay. So now I have these spacers that I've made. You need 4 of those. Okay. And the longer bolts. So take one of the dog bones. I like to try and put the so you put a spacer on it. Alright, let me slide that in there and then I'll come back. Alright, so here we are. Put the GSXR Shock in. And I put spacers in there between things. Now I haven't tightened these down yet because I'm going to do a couple different things here. But you need the spacers to clear the shock, because this shock is much thicker than the Kawasaki shock. Yeah. So you have to space it out so that the dog bones miss the spring on both sides. So that's why I have these little spacers in here on the ends here. So I said it's not tightened down or nothing, but here's the rough estimate. Now I got to go back and do the OEM shock again. Right here, this is the just shy of 24 inches. Get it focus. Okay. Just shy of 24 inches from the top of the tail. Alright. Now that's with the OEM dog bones. Have these shorter ones here. So install those and see what kind of height change you get. Alright, so install the dog bones. And go from the same spot down, and just over 25, which is the inch that you lose when you change the shocks. So, and you kind of get the height back. You do get the height back, and so I mean that's pretty much the entire install. So start to finish, you can do this with the tire on, chain in place. This is just a frame that, you know, is bent up at the top. It has a tweaked frame, so I decided to do this as demonstration purposes, help people out with trying to do it. Let me see, that's where it clears. It just barely clears the thing, so I mean that's pretty much exactly how you want to do it. And she's done. Go have fun.